Well, first of all, it would take someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has
Ma'am, we're going to
consistently,
stop this
frequently
interview if you're going to
likened
keep
President
attacking my
Trump to
colleagues.
Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you
I'm
continue
stating
to attack my colleagues.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering.
America.
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. Got a pretty big event happening later on in the week. It's the first debate of the 2024 election season, pitting the presumptive Republican nominee, former President Donald Trump, and the Democrat incumbent President Joe Biden. They'll be duking it out on CNN of all places. Now, Trump supporters would be forgiven for thinking that Trump's actually going to be facing three opponents at this debate. Biden himself, such as he is with his feeble mind, and the CNN moderators Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. And that's because CNN has a long and infamous history, close to a decade now, of Trump bashing, spreading Trump misinformation, being wrong about all kinds of stories, Russia, and the like. We're going to look at that, and we're going to look at a specific moment this week where a Trump spokesperson went on CNN and was summarily dismissed from the show for even raising the issue of CNN's potential bias. We're going to talk about this clip and show some of the receipts that this person was talking about. But before we do that, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the shows. And if you like what you're seeing here in this or any other video on the channel, I'm going to ask you guys to please smash that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff, because all that feeds the YouTube algorithm.
Yes, it must feed.
As always, thank you guys so much for all that you do to help grow the channel. You know I really appreciate all of your efforts. And for all you newbies out there, I hope that this video earns your subscription as we watch this exchange between CNN's Kasie Hunt and the Trump 2024 National Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, and how it devolved into Hunt kicking Leavitt off the show. Here's how Kasie Hunt set up the segment for the CNN viewing audience.
Biden is huddled with a close circle of advisors at Camp David. Donald Trump was bouncing ideas off the crowd at his Saturday rally in Philadelphia. Both, of course, working towards this showdown with a memory of the 2020 debate that, just want to remind you, sounded like this.
Now, I'm not going to remind you how it sounds. If you want to look it up, you can certainly find it online in multiple places. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to point out how CNN is using this clip to already poison pill Donald Trump for their audience, as if the past 9 years hadn't already done that. They want to show Trump in a bad light because that first debate between Trump and Biden was an absolute shit show. So you see how they're setting up Trump for failure here when they're bringing Karoline Leavitt on to discuss how he's going to handle the debate in this cycle.
Prepare to fast forward.
Preparing to fast forward.
Fast forward.
Fast forwarding, sir.
Joining me now is Karoline Leavitt. She is Trump campaign national press secretary. Karoline, thanks very much for being here on the show. We played that to remind everyone that that was some of what they saw on the debate stage in 2020. Of course, President Trump went on to lose that election to Joe Biden. Can you tell us what Donald Trump is going to do differently on the debate stage this time?
Do you see what Kasie Hunt is doing here? She's putting Karoline Leavitt on the back foot. We played that clip to remind our audience what happened in the last debate and how much of a shit show it was, and just to remind everybody how Biden beat Trump. She's priming the audience to be pro-Biden and anti-Trump. This is what hack journalists do. They provide the narrative for their audience, not the facts. They want this beautiful narrative, whatever suits them. In this case, it's the left-leaning narrative from CNN that we've come to know for the past 9+ years, hating Donald Trump. But she forgets that when a Trump supporter or a pro-Trump person or a Trump representative is put on the back foot, put on the defensive, what is their strategy? Fight back.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Sure. Well, President Trump is well prepared ahead of Thursday's debates. Unlike Joe Biden, he doesn't have to hide away and have his advisors tell him what to say. President Trump knows what he wants to say, and he's going to relay his vision to the American people to make this country strong, safe, secure, and wealthy again. He's been doing that across this great nation to all corners of this country. That's why he was in Detroit, Michigan last week. He was in Philadelphia for a big rally on Saturday night, and that's why President Trump is knowingly going into a hostile environment on this very network, on CNN, with debate moderators who have made their opinions about him very well known over the past 8 years and their biased coverage of him. So President Trump is willing to bring his message to every corner of this country, to voters, to ensure that he wins this election in November. He looks forward to doing that, and I know the American public look forward to hearing from him.
Damn! Great answer from Leavitt. She punched right back. She wasn't going to take that line down from Kasie Hunt, putting her on the back foot like that, priming the audience to be pro-Biden. She did a great job talking about what the president has been doing, comparing that to what Biden has not been doing, hiding away in a bunker, a la 2020. And she took a jab at CNN, reminding the audience how CNN has been biased against Trump for years. Now, obviously, she's not talking to the CNN audience. They've been primed for, like I said, close to a decade now to hate Donald Trump. She's talking to everybody else who may be tuning in for this debate, who happen to be watching CNN, or like us, watching it as a clip later on.
So I'll just say my colleagues, Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, have acquitted themselves as professionals as they have covered campaigns and interviewed candidates from all sides of the aisle. I'll also say that if you talk to analysts of debates previous, that if you're attacking the moderators, you're usually losing. So I really want to focus in on what these two men are going to do and say when they stand on the stage. Now,
Kasie Hunt, I'll give her points for loyalty. She is loyal to her co-workers, loyal to her brand in pushing back on Leavitt's assertion about CNN's bias. Again, I think CNN's bias is pretty well known these days, and I think the science is pretty well settled based upon how CNN has been dismantled in the ratings and how personalities were let go very controversially, like Chris Cuomo, like Don Lemon, like Mr. Potato Head, if you even remember his name these days.
Prepare to meet Mr. Angry Eyes.
But I think you get the point here that Kasie Hunt's doing her job to stick up for her network here. Not exactly what you want from a journalist conducting an interview. She's sort of fact-checking on the fly here, but she's doing so in a very biased way because, again, she works for CNN. She has to uphold the CNN company line. And, again, she's looking combative towards a Trump spokesperson. But it gets worse from here, folks, and watch what happens.
We have a little bit of what Donald Trump, your boss, has said in trying to set expectations for this debate. I want to play a series of his comments, and then we'll talk about it. Watch.
Uh-oh. Here we go again.
Maybe I'm better off losing the debate. I'll make sure he says I'll lose the debate on purpose. Maybe I'll do something like that.
I assume he's going to be somebody that will be a worthy debater.
Should I be tough and nasty and just say you're the worst president in history? Or should I be nice and calm and let him speak?
Now, obviously, there's some tongue-in-cheek there stuff from Donald Trump, I would think. But there's also the entertainer of Donald Trump at the crowd saying, should I be all rough and gruff or should I be a nice guy? I get that. CNN doesn't seem to get context a lot when it comes to Donald Trump. This is sort of what they do. But I think Trump is also talking about tactics. He's talking about, do I let Joe Biden speak and let his own words speak for themselves because he has that feeble brain of his? So I don't really see what Kasie Hunt is trying to prove by bringing up this clip. Maybe trying to put Trump in a false light again or trying to make him look bad. Let's see.
So he's basically saying there, well, will I let Joe Biden win? It does seem as though many Republicans have set the bar very low in terms of arguing that Joe Biden is basically senile. Now you have people like Doug Burgum coming out and saying, well, President Biden's very accomplished, trying to set expectations in a different place.
Listen to all those straw men from Kasie Hunt. She's saying that Republicans are saying he's senile. No, they're saying that there's something wrong with Joe Biden. Certainly. I don't think anybody said senile. And if they have, you can correct me. But Kasie Hunt is putting forth boogeyman arguments. She summarized the 3 different quotes from Trump as him saying that he's going to intentionally lose. He said that in part of one of those clips, so she's not framing the entire set of clips properly. And then she's trying to bring a false equivalency, I guess, between that and Republicans saying that he's senile, referring to Biden. I don't get that, but you see, again, Kasie Hunt framing the question in such a way that Karoline Leavitt is having to defend Donald Trump again. And what's she going to do? She's going to do whatever the hell she wants to do.
What do you expect from Joe Biden?
Well, first of all, it would take someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently,
we're going to stop this interview if you're going to keep
President
attacking
Trump
my colleagues.
Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue
stating,
to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay.
Now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time. You are welcome to come back at any point. She is welcome to come back and speak about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump will have equal time to Joe Biden when they both join us now at later this week in Atlanta for this debate.
That was an overreaction. That was uncalled for.
So as you see, Kasie Hunt kind of lost the moment there at the end. She lost the day of the debate, got pretty flustered because she knew she was in uncharted waters by kicking off this Trump spokesperson. Now, again, I appreciate that she wants to defend her colleagues, but man, she went overboard there. Speaking over Karoline Leavitt, why not just let Leavitt's words speak for themselves? If people are going to get annoyed about her attacking CNN and Jake Tapper, then so be it. Let her say her piece. I understand you want an answer to your question, but your job is to pose the question. They answer it in the way they see fit. This is typical CNN, though, and we've seen this for close to a decade with various different personalities. Did Kasie Hunt go overboard? Let's make this the topic of the day. I want to know what you think about her efforts of white knighting for CNN and Jake Tapper and her colleagues. Let's get into the comments together and discuss that. Now, when we come back from the break, I'm going to do what Karoline Leavitt suggested. Let's do a 5-minute Google search and see what we can find about, let's say, Jake Tapper and his characterizations of Donald Trump to see if his past history with Trump shows that he's going to be able to be unbiased in his moderation of this debate. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. So I took about 5 minutes to Google some stuff with Jake Tapper and Donald Trump, went onto social media, and I found a plethora of clips of Jake Tapper talking about Donald Trump in a very negative light.
Is it possible, Congressman, is it possible that the Republican Party is now the party of deranged bigots? Do you think it's racist to vote for President Trump in 2020? The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the United States. Donald Trump, a couple times over the weekend, referred to immigrants from South America, Africa, and Asia. He did not mention Europe. South America, Africa, and Asia as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, which it's not hyperbole. That does very directly echo Adolf's language before World War II. If you were to open up a copy of Mein Kampf, you would find the Nazi leader describing the mixing of Germans with Germans as poisoning. There's really no other way to say it. Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly. While we're sticking to the facts and telling you just what we know, President Trump apparently has no such constraints, since he simply makes stuff up. He frequently lies and has a long and well-documented career engaging in conspiracy theories. We're not carrying his remarks live because, frankly, he says a lot of things that are not true and sometimes potentially dangerous. That was the worst debate I have ever seen. In fact, it wasn't even a debate. It was a disgrace. And it's primarily because of President Trump. Divisions. Many of the divisions caused and exacerbated by President Trump himself. It's been a time of several significant and utterly avoidable failures most tragically. Of course, the unwillingness to respect facts and science and do everything that can be done to save lives during a pandemic. It has been a time where truth and fact were treated with disdain. It is a time of cruelty where official inhumanity, such as child separation, became the official shameful policy of the United States. But now the Trump presidency is coming to an end. To an end. With so many squandered opportunities and ruined potential, but also an era of just plain meanness. It must be said, to paraphrase President Ford, for tens of millions of our fellow Americans, their long national nightmare is over.
Those clips that you just saw represent years of Jake Tapper's coverage of the Trump presidency. You see the comparisons to that bad man from Germany in World War II. You see hyperbole and soliloquies and just out-of-bounds questions about Republicans and Trump supporters. It runs the gamut, and it runs over several years. So in what world should we be led to believe that Jake Tapper is going to be able to be neutral, biased, and call it down the middle at this CNN debate? Frankly, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Trump supporters are correct in thinking it's going to be 3-on-1 at this debate. I think that people are rightfully worried about the rules about shutting off microphones and things like that at this debate, that CNN's going to have control of Trump's time that way. It's going to be very interesting to see how Trump is able to push back against everyone. What tacks he's going to take. Is he going to be the nice guy and let Biden fumble, bumble, and stumble the way that he normally does? Or is he going to go on the attack like we expect from trademark Donald Trump tactics? It's going to be interesting to see. And I'd love to know what you guys think is going to happen on Thursday. Let's get into the comments together and discuss these tactics and others. And as always, like and share the video with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. I look forward to reading your comments and responding to them about this video and all the other shenanigans and buffoonery happening this week in DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.